Hello guys, welcome to Movie Mind YouTube channel. Today, in this video, I am going to explain to you the full story of the 3 Iron movie. Let's take a look at the story of this movie without further delay. At the beginning of the movie, a man named Tae-suk rides his bike and puts posters on the door of every house he sees. After Tae-suk finishes putting up the posters, he goes to the houses he has put up the posters so far. Tae-suk opens the doors of the house and enters the house, realizing that the posters he put on the door of the house will remain the same, meaning that there are no people in the house. After that, he goes into each room and checks if anyone else is in the house. After checking the entire house once or twice, Tae-suk begins his work. He takes off his clothes and goes to the bathroom of the house to freshen up. After he gets fresh, he wears the clothes in the cupboard, opens the fridge and eats the food he finds. Also, the Tae-suk notices that the gun in the house is not working, fixes it and sleeps watching TV in the hall. He wakes up the next day and washes the clothes of the people in that house. Then the owners of that house also come there. The Tae-suk notices the owners coming and takes his belongings and leaves the house. So Tae-suk rides his bike to another house where he has put up posters. A photo of a beautiful girl appears in that house. When Tae-suk sees the photo, as is his habit, he checks twice to see if anyone is home. In that process, he opens the door of a room. In that room, the girl Tae-suk saw in the photo is sitting and crying. Tae-suk closes the door without noticing her presence in the room. The girl noticed that, who is he and why has he come to this house? She is watching him intently. As usual, Tae-suk takes a selfie with the photo of the girl there, freshens up, and sits on the dining table to eat. After he eats, he washes their dirty clothes in the house, plays golf for a while in the golf course outside the house, then goes inside the house and checks his weight. Tae-suk then notices that the weight machine is malfunctioning and repairs the weight machine. On the other hand, Sunhwa observes everything he does, and realizes that he didn't come to steal. After that, Tae-suk goes to the bedroom and sleeps. The girl also comes near Tae-suk's bed and keeps looking at him. Meanwhile, Tae-suk wakes up and sees the girl. But the girl doesn't say anything to Tae-suk. Then Tae-suk gets up and takes his things and leaves without saying anything. After that, the girl's husband returns home. As soon as he comes, he saw the girl in anger and is going to forcefully have sex with her. The girl is feeling very embarrassed. Then Tae-suk stays there and watches all this from the outside. Seeing that, Tae-suk thinks he has to stop him anyway, and is playing golf outside in front of him. Seeing that, the girl's husband goes to Tae-suk saying, "Who are you, playing golf at my house?" Then Tae-suk hits him with the golf ball there, and he falls over. Tae-suk goes and sits on his bike, starts the bike and looks at Sunhwa. Sunhwa also doesn't think this is a good time to escape from her husband and goes and sits on Tae-suk's bike while her husband is watching. The two of them go together to the house where Tae-suk put up the posters earlier. After entering the house, Tae-suk fixes things in the house according to his habit and goes into the kitchen to cook for the two of them. Sunhwa cleans the house and washes the dirty clothes. As Tae-suk takes a selfie with a photo of the house as a sign, Sunhwa also takes a photo with him. Later they both take some posters and paste them on the houses in that area. So they both find a house without people and enter that house. But now the house they went to belongs to a boxer. There are also boxing gloves to mark that. Tae-suk and Sunhwa finish all the work in the house and sit in the hall drinking drinks. Then Sunhwa cries. Tae-suk comforts her. After that he takes her to the bedroom and makes her sleep. Sunhwa then asks Tae-suk to sleep next to her, and Tae-suk sleeps next to the girl. Then the owners of that house came. Noticing that someone is in the bedroom, the homeowner puts on his boxing gloves and beats Tae-suk. Later he kicked them out of the house. Then came out and went to a shop and had lunch. After that, they went to another house where the posters were pasted and got physically intimate in that house that night. The next day they went to another apartment and pasted posters on the houses there. Then they went inside the house where the poster they stuck remained the same. As they go and check the whole house, Sunhwa finds an old dead body in the house. They cleaned the blood there and took out the dead body of the old man and cremated it. After that they finish all the work in that house and sleep there that night. The next day, while they were cooking and eating in that house, two people came into that house. Both of them are none other than the dead old man's children. Then the girl checks the house and tells her elder brother that her father is not here. Thinking that these two must have done something to his father, they locked Tae-suk and Sunhwa inside and called the police. The police brought them to the police station and started interrogation. Both Tae-suk and Sunhwa are silent without actually speaking. The policeman sends Sunhwa out and starts beating Tae-suk. No matter how much the police beat him, Tae-suk doesn't speak at all. Then some police officers identified the dead body of the old man and did the post-mortem. Then they know that no one actually killed the old man. Because he has lung cancer, he bleeds to death. Knowing this, the police officers find Sunhwa's address and hand Sunhwa over to her husband. Then Sunhwa's husband who comes there takes her and tries to beat Tae-suk, but the policemen stop him and send him away. Then that husband brought Sunhwa home. He understood that it was his fault in what happened. He tried to talk to his wife with love for the first time. But Sunhwa ignores him and goes into the room. The husband gets angry and calls the police and bribes him to bring Tae-suk to a place. The policeman takes the money and leaves Tae-suk on the road. Sunhwa's husband continues to beat Tae-suk with a golf ball until his anger subsides. Seeing that, the policeman thought that Sunhwa's husband was going to kill him and stopped him. Then Tae-suk gets angry that the policeman took a bribe and beats him up. Then the other policeman also came there and took Tae-suk and threw him in jail. Later Tae-suk was behaving very strangely in that prison. He imagines a golf court and plays golf there. Seeing that, the rest of the prisoners in the jail started laughing. Seeing that, Tae-suk got into a fight with them. With that, the police put Tae-suk in a separate cell. After that a policeman was checking the prisoners in the cell. Then he didn't show up in the cell where Tae-suk was supposed to be. When the police opened the cell, Tae-suk was hiding near the door and playing with the police. Seeing that, the policeman said, "What are you playing with me?" and hit him. But Tae-suk is smiling at the policeman without any anger. Meanwhile, Sunhwa's husband, drunk, comes to Sunhwa's room and tries to force her. But Sunhwa ignores him and walks away. On the other hand, the next day, the police came to Tae-suk's cell again and checked. Then Tae-suk was nowhere to be seen. With that, the police officer opens the cell thinking that Tae-suk can be hiding near the door again. But Tae-suk isn't there. The police officer looks up without understanding anything. Then Tae-suk hangs out holding the ventilator above the door. Seeing that, the policeman got angry again and said, get down, will you play games with me?" and crushed Tae-suk again and left. Then also Tae-suk continued to laugh. Then Tae-suk unbuttons his shirt and learns to walk silently. The next day the policeman checks Tae-suk's cell. Then when Tae-suk didn't show up, the policeman angrily opened the cell door and went inside. There's Tae-suk's shirt thrown down. The police looked around 360 degrees to see where Tae-suk was. However, Tae-suk is nowhere to be seen. Here Tae-suk is walking behind the police, following the police movement without even a sound. But at that time the police saw Tae-suk's shadow. Realizing that Tae-suk was behind him, the policeman suddenly turned around and slapped Tae-suk. Tae-suk smiled again and stood up. Now Tae-suk has fully practiced how to hide even his shadow. The next time the policeman came inside Tae-suk's cell, he couldn't find Tae-suk no matter how hard he searched. Here we can understand the level at which Tae-suk has practiced in moving around invisible to humans. Thus, Tae-suk escapes from the prison by beating him without being seen by the police. Meanwhile, Sunhwa's husband learns that Tae-suk has escaped from prison. Now Sunhwa also knew this. That night as he sleeps, he has a doubt that Tae-suk may escape from prison and return to his home. So the husband grabs a stick and searches the whole house for Tae-suk. But Tae-suk couldn't see him. A shadow follows the husband as he returns to the bedroom. Sunhwa notices that. And Sunhwa realizes that Tae-suk has came to her house. So Sunhwa came out for Tae-suk after her husband falls asleep. She came out and stood in front of a mirror. Then Tae-suk appears standing behind her. Just then, Tae-suk hides when he notices Sunhwa's husband arriving. Sunhwa opens her mouth for the first time when she sees her husband and says, "I love you." This is the first dialogue spoken by Sunhwa in this movie. Sunhwa hugs her husband and holds out her hand for her boyfriend. Just then Tae-suk comes in and kisses Sunhwa. But Sunhwa's husband doesn't know this, because Tae-suk is skilled at that level in moving around without being seen by anyone. The next day, Sunhwa cooks food items with great pleasure and serves them to her husband. Only then we will understand that she cooked those food items with love, not for her husband but for her boyfriend. Thus, Tae-suk walks around the house like a shadow without Sunhwa's husband knowledge. The next day, Sunhwa's husband bids her goodbye and goes out. Tae-suk follows Sunhwa as usual. So finally happy days started for both of them. Because of Tae-suk's love for Sunhwa, he stays in the house and loves Sunhwa unseen by her husband for life. This is how this movie ends. For such an interesting movie explanation, please subscribe to my channel and activate the bell next to it. Also, if you like this video, don't forget to like and comment. Thanks for watching. See you later in the video.